Welcome to Stopping Goliath. My name is John J. Kimmel. I hope that by the time you finish this video, you're going to want to like and share this video. I pray that you're going to want to subscribe to our channel and hit that notify bell so that you know when a new video drops into our channel. I also hope that you'll comment on this video, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Maybe you want to challenge me. I hope that you would have the courage to do so. Let's have a dialogue about the truth. And truth is what we're talking about today. We are going to be talking about the truth of abortion and the statistics around abortion in the United States primarily today. That's what we're going to be talking about, because the other side, the pro-choice movement, much of our government would tell you that abortion is about reproductive health care. But abortion has never been about health care, and before this video is over, I'm going to prove it to you. So on June 24th, the biggest story of the year in 2022 was that Roe versus Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court 6-3. And we've all heard lots of numbers thrown around, but the truth is that in the United States, since Roe v. Wade came into being law in 1973, there have been over 63 million abortions performed in the United States alone. But you know, that number is so large as to not maybe really make a lot of sense to you. So I want to try and help you imagine what 63 million people looks like. Imagine for a moment that a hostile force, a foreign country, invaded the United States. And imagine that they took a piece of our country hostage. Imagine they took all of Arizona and Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, the state of Washington, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Utah. Imagine if they took all of those states and then put every man, woman, and child to death in those states. That's about 63 million people. Now, some of you say, well, those are little states. Those, some of those, like North Dakota, how many people are in North Dakota? So let me give it to you another way. Imagine the largest cities in the United States, cities like New York and Los Angeles and Chicago, San Francisco, Dallas, all the big cities. Imagine the top 50, not 15, 50, the top 50 largest cities in the United States. Now imagine every man, woman, and child in all of those top 50 cities being put to death. That would be about 63 million people. And that's how many human beings have been murdered by abortion. Now, war is a terrible, terrible thing. And the human tragedy that comes from war is staggering. Since the United States became a nation, we've lost about 667,000 people to combat. That's a lot of citizens to lose, 667,000. But remember, I just told you there's been 63 million abortions. So 94 children have been murdered for every one man or woman killed in combat. That number is staggering. Now, it's even worse if you put in the entire world into these statistics. In the world, we kill about 73 million babies per year. And I looked up how many people have died in combat in the entire history of planet Earth. And the most conservative estimate I found was 150 million. And the largest estimate I found was 1 billion people. So let's put that in perspective. If the number is 1 billion people have died in combat, that means that in the world, we've murdered as many babies as people have died in combat just in the last 15 years. And if the conservative estimate is closer to correct, 150 million, that means that every 2 years or so, we kill as many babies as people have died in combat in the history of planet Earth. Now, there are some hard question cases when it comes to abortion. And those hard cases include things like rape and incest. And 0.39%, so less than half of 1% of all abortion cases come from rape and incest. Now, let me put that number in perspective. In 2020, which is the best numbers we have, the most recent year, in 2020, there were 930,160 abortions in the United States. 0.39% is 3,628. So there were 3,628 abortions due to rape or incest out of almost 1 million. Now, abortionists would tell you there were another 1.14% that were due to saving the life of the mother. Okay, that they were done for reasons of protecting the health of the mother. And even if that were true, that would still only be another 10,600 abortions. The rest would all be for other reasons. But the truth is, the number of abortions attributed to saving the life of the mother, in reality, is zero. None. The number is so small that it isn't even worth calculating. And I know some of you right now are throwing your hands up and yelling at your screen saying, oh, he's lying. Well, let me give you a couple pieces of evidence. The first one comes from the Surgeon General of the United States. For those of you who remember C. Everett Koop, he was the Surgeon General when I was young. This is what he said. He said, the fact of the matter is that abortion as a necessity to save the life of the mother is so rare as to be non-existent. That was from the Surgeon General, and that quote came from 1981. Now, you might be saying, oh, he's probably one of those pro-life guys. All right, okay. How about Alan Guttmacher? Now, you might not know the name Alan Guttmacher, but for those of you who are atheists, for those of you who hate Christians, you're going to love this guy. Alan Guttmacher was a secular humanist. In fact, he's one of the signers of the Humanist Manifesto, which is as extreme in that category as you can get. He believed in abortion on demand. He believed in divorce on demand. He believed in suicide and euthanasia on demand. He was as left gets, okay? And if you haven't maybe heard that name, for those of you who are pro-choice maybe watching this video, look him up, because he was also the president of Planned Parenthood right after it was launched. And this is what Alan Guttmacher said. He said, today, it is possible for almost any patient to be brought through pregnancy alive unless she suffers from a fatal disease such as cancer or leukemia. And if so, abortion would be unlikely to prolong, much less save the life. In other words, women don't die from having abortions. And this person who was the president of Planned Parenthood said that in 1967, 55 years ago, and medicine has done nothing but advance since then. The truth is that abortion has never been about healthcare, never, regardless of what the other side of the aisle claims it to be about. It's about birth control, it's about racial population control, and it's about money. And if you have trouble believing the last two, just look up the omnibus bill that just passed through our Congress and was signed by our president, and you'll find that $575 million was appropriated specifically, not for the United States, but to give to countries where either endangered species or other animals, plants are threatened by human growth, and they're giving $575 million at least to reproductive health care. In other words, they're giving other countries money for abortion. You see, it's much, much less expensive if you were to go to a country like the Central Republic of Africa. It costs about $11 to have an abortion. So $575 million effectively would kill over 50 million babies to save a tree or a frog. So what can we do? The first thing is we absolutely must pray. We must be praying for the eyes of those who will hear the truth, for their eyes to be open. You can also volunteer. There are pregnancy resource centers all over this country that help women who are pregnant and are trying to figure out what to do. They're having a tough time. These pregnancy resource centers will help them not just choose life, but be great moms and raise their kids, or put them to adoption if that's the best choice for the family. And the last thing, of course, you can do is spread the truth. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. It could literally save the life of an unborn child, and he or she will be glad that you did.